Listen up. There's no more excuses.
We're empowering those who want the hustle by exposing the status quo.
The days of ordinary are over.
It's time to crush mediocrity and start discovering your greatest potential.
Welcome to the Hustle Nation. To the Hustle Nation. To the Hustle Nation. To the Hustle Nation. To the Hustle.
Welcome back to another episode of the Hustle Nation podcast. Today we've got a real treat. Mr. Cale Owen is in the house. Cale is CEO of Prestige Labs, Gym Launch, and gymowners.com. You may or may not know of Gym Launch, but after today, you will say, aha, I know where I know Cale from, and I know where I've heard Gym Launch from. Cale, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I'm excited for our conversation today. As we were talking before the show, I came across you on LinkedIn serendipitously. And when I started to hear your content and your messaging, immediately knew you were someone I had to follow. And then it wasn't more than maybe a month or two later when I bought the $100 billion Offers book by Alex Hormozi, and I made the connection with Gym Launch. But I really started to pay attention after that, obviously. Before we get into all that good stuff, tell us a little bit about who you are and your journey on how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try to keep it pretty short, but some interesting things about me. So I have, from the age of like 8 to 23, all I focused on in life was really baseball. So anything that I did was all focused around how can I play more baseball? And my goal from 8 years old up until I just kept playing until my last day was to play at the highest level that I could in baseball. I was able to play high school, then college for 4 years, and then signed as free agent in the Phillies organization, played a year in the Phillies organization. So I was able to achieve a decent level of baseball, not as high as I wish I would have, but higher than, frankly, what I probably should have been able to do as a kid based on my physical attributes and basic skill sets. And I grew up really just in this whole mental mindset of everything that I'm going to try to do here is centered around one goal, which is trying to play professional baseball. And through that process, I moved around a lot. Family went through financial ups and downs through all of that. But for me, that one thing for me was I want to be the best baseball player that I can possibly be. And going through that, you have your ups and downs in sports. You have your good seasons, your bad seasons. You have your good coaches, your bad coaches. But one of the things that never stopped for me was my just intense focus on trying to be the best that I could possibly be. And to be real and frank with the listeners and with you is that I really didn't have the genetic ability that should have been playing professional baseball. I really shouldn't have. I was always the smallest kid on the team. I wasn't incredibly fast. I was faster than average, but not incredibly fast when it comes to professional levels. Didn't really have any power, didn't have a great arm. So for me to be able to play at that level, it took a lot of work. It took a ton of time spent on my own and with other teammates and coaches and just getting better. And throughout that process, I learned that, with the right model, the right training model and the right focus and the right sacrifice, that you can achieve extremely high levels in whatever you want to achieve. And post doing that, I got into owning a gym and then left that gym to then start another gym across the state in Florida. And that one was really the opening for me to get to where I am now, because we opened that gym in 2015, my wife and I, and we were really struggling for 2 years up until 2017. In early 2017, I was 8 weeks from shutting the doors of my gym, really struggling to get new members in, didn't really understand the business aspects of it to the degree that I should have. Saw an ad with Alex Hormozi and Gym Launch, did a little bit of research, signed up, and ended up blowing up our gym over the next 8 months, building a team, getting it to pretty much full capacity. And then from that point, a year later in 2018, I ended up joining Gym Launch as a salesperson. So just entry level, joined him as a salesperson, still had my gym. My wife was running it and just wanted to be a part of the Gym Launch culture and the company and help more gym owners out there in the world. And then that kind of started my path to really where I am today as the CEO, which I laugh and joke about me being here as like last man standing, because I went from, I went from salesperson to sales manager to coaching manager to GM to now CEO. And it's an interesting way that that's happened. But one of the same thing that helped me through baseball and be able to get to where I was are the same attributes and characteristics and mindset that were able to help me get to where I am now, which is an intense focus, not an intense focus on me trying to be CEO, but an intense focus on me being the best leader and the best person that I can be within this company to help drive the most amount of value. And also with this intense desire to learn as much as I possibly can. Coupling that with an intense work ethic is what I believe one of the reasons why I'm here. And that kind of brings us up to speed. There's a lot more in all of that, but that's kind of got me to where I am now.
That's an incredible story. I love every bit of that. A couple takeaways for me with everything you said there was mindset, and then at the end, you basically capped it with which was your work ethic. And I think that for so much of us, we give up because we don't have the work ethic or the mindset either. And I think those two go hand in hand. But what's really interesting toward the beginning of that story is you said um, you didn't think you should have made it as far as you did, making it to the major league. So, what is the percentage of people that even get as far as you did? Because there are millions of people, I would argue, that would kill just to say, I sniffed single A baseball.
Yeah, I think it's less than 3% of, I think it's less than 1% of little leaguers make it. And I think it's less than 3% of high schoolers make it. I could be wrong, but it's somewhere in those, it's less than 3% of individuals ever play professional baseball with an affiliated professional team.
So looking back to this day, do you still feel like you shouldn't have been there? Like you just can't have a hard time imagining how you did that?
Yeah, even to this day, it became very apparent because when I signed up, I was 23 and I'm playing with these 17-year-olds from the Dominican or from Venezuela and stuff, and they have more talent, right, in one hand than I do my entire body, from speed, power, everything else. What I had over them was more experience playing, but also I knew how to play the game. I knew how to coach the game. I knew how the game worked. So that helped me a lot. But, when you're 23 and it's a business and you got 17-year-olds, it just doesn't make sense. Like I have to outperform everyone because they have a higher potential than me, period. So, and when you don't outperform everyone proportionally to the age, then it's very easy to cut those individuals. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you really became a.
No, I still believe that I shouldn't have even gotten there, but I did. So
it's amazing. But I think to get to that point, though, also you have to be a student of the game, which goes to point out your work ethic and the time that you put into not only the on the field, but the off the field, the training, being coachable, and all those amazing things. And I'm sure that all of that knowledge and experience that you gained along the way through baseball, training, weightlifting, off-season programs, that must have led you into creating a gym. And I'm really curious to look into that next chapter of your life. What was it that got you into the gym business?
Yeah. So when I was 13, I realized that I needed to get a lot bigger and a lot stronger and a lot faster. I was great. I was fortunate enough to have people around me that spoke truth into my life and into my goals. And they didn't coddle me. And they told me, if you're going to make it, this is how you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to outwork everyone. You're going to have to be in better shape than everyone. You're going to have to maximize your potential physically, and you're going to have to know the game better. So these are the parts of the things that you're going to have to do. And I was thankfully not arrogant enough at that age to listen. So I actually listened to them and then started implementing what they told me. And at 13, I really fell in love with strength and conditioning, trying to see how I could maximize my potential as an athlete on the baseball field. And that carried on through high school and college and into pro ball. And then in college, I was like, if I don't play baseball or when I'm done with baseball, I'd love to train people. I'd love to impart the knowledge that I've gained over this short amount of time, and then learn more about this and help as many people as possible. And that led into starting the gym afterwards, which was really my passion coming out of baseball was definitely more on the athlete side, the performance side, rather than the general population, weight loss training or anything like that. However, over time, it quickly changed into I really enjoy helping Susie, who's a mom of 3 and has a job and wants to lose 30 pounds. And the impact that has when I help her lose 30 pounds is insane, because it doesn't just impact her, it impacts her kids, it impacts their entire family, it impacts her friends, her family, all the people around her, because now she's able to show up more confident as a better mom, as a better wife, better employee, better business owner, whatever it is. So over time, that transitioned into that. But yeah, that was the catalyst for me, is really just my own journey.
That's a phenomenal story. Thank you for sharing that. Now, the gym business is pretty intriguing to me. Growing up, being someone that was always kind of somewhat into fitness, I was never the athlete you were, but I've been around a lot of different gyms, both locally owned and big box gyms like LA Fitness, and I've seen a lot of different business models. But what is it that makes that business and that industry so difficult if you're not maybe a part of the gym launch program? Why do so many gyms fail? And I hear this a lot listening to different podcasts.
Yeah, I think the core concept of this is that fitness in and of itself is seen as a commodity. And to be real, like, let's be real, like, people don't really enjoy working out. It's uncomfortable. Like, it's
Most, yeah.
most, right? Like, most people, they, to be real. So if we just came out with a gym launch released, or Prestige Labs released a new supplement or a new drug came on the market where you could take this pill and get all of the benefits, including the endorphins, all the physical benefits, the mental benefits of everything without working out. And all you had to do was take this pill every day for the rest of your life. And you would be in your personal peak optimal shape. Maybe not like stage ready or show ready like a bodybuilder or anything like that, but for your body type, you'd be in a good spot. I mean, gyms would shut down. There would be no gyms because
Yeah.
they take time. They're hard to do. People know they have to do it, but they don't enjoy it. It's uncomfortable. You get sore. You have to follow a nutrition plan, and everyone wants to eat as much as they can. So it is really, in my opinion, one of the hardest industries to run successfully. And there's thousands of gyms. I mean, in the United States alone in 2022, there were over 115,000 establishments
Wow.
between health clubs and studios and everything. And this paints a picture of like how hard it is in the industry. The average gym, according to the IRS in 2022, made $326,000 in revenue per year in that year. And their average profit margin was 11.2%, which means that they profited $36,000 in a year. And the average gym owner is working 50 to 60 hours per week. And they're either on the floor working with them, they're working with their teams, they're answering emails, calls, constantly thinking about their clients and trying to figure out what they can do, and they're barely scraping by. So I really think it's the culture that we have within it makes it a little bit harder. People really, it's not, even though people see fitness as important, it still is not something that's like, hey, this is really easy to do, sign me up all the time. There has to be a lot of skill sets. Like, you have to understand how to sell, you have to understand how to market, have to provide an exceptional product and stand out in today's market because there's a gym on every corner.
Yeah. Is the popularity of the Pelotons and the subscription-based fitness applications hurting gyms today?
No, not at all. So the spike that we saw, which obviously you can definitely see the timing was perfect for Peloton and other at-home services, it was great during COVID. But then we predicted in 2021 that they would see a massive drop off and that gyms would come back. We predicted this back in, I think it was July or August of 2021. And we've seen a massive rebound. I mean, you can see it from the stock. You can see Peloton dropping. You can see Mirror dropping. You can see all of these different ones dropping because people, when they're working out, the average person still enjoys community. And then when people were cooped up and not able to go see their friends and hang out with people, this added to the kind of the rubber band effect of coming back, and foot traffic is higher. We're seeing foot traffic continue to increase on both the club side and the studio side. So, I mean, we don't see this slowing down. Granted, the fitness industry in and of itself from a revenue standpoint still hasn't rebounded to pre-COVID numbers, but it's well on pace to surpass that, I would say, by 2026, 2027.
Interesting. I would have assumed now that more and more people are getting out with COVID being mostly in the rearview mirror. But let's transition more to gym launch. I'm curious. So your company goes in and they help businesses, gyms, resurrect themselves. What is it that the gym launch does to get from point A to B and B to C to help these gyms and clubs grow and be thriving again?
So what we do is we think about business for most gyms very simply is there's 5 core functions of a business. You've got lead generation, right? Every business has to be able to generate leads. And they have to be at a price that makes sense to continue to scale. Without leads, we're not going to be able to get new customers, whether that's referrals, paid leads, you're handing out flyers, which you should never do, or doing whatever you want in the community, right? Number two, the second core function is lead nurture. This is the thing that most people forget about. I call it the blue collar business function. And that is because no one likes to do it. No one thinks they should do it, but it's one of the most important, especially for gyms and service businesses. Is cool. You can get a lot of leads, but if you don't nurture those leads and get them to show up, you'll never have any sales appointments. So you have no chance. And a lot of people, business owners, period, they lump those two together, and they should be seen as separate functions, because getting leads takes a separate skill set than it does to actually get them to show up. And they're two totally different things. The third one is sales, right? We have to have the skill set and the ability to close people at rates that are able to offset our acquisition costs, give us a profit day one, and give us more money to pour back into marketing to continue to grow. And we have to do it at a percentage that allows us to stay sustainable and be able to keep growing. And then number four is fulfillment. We need to be able to fulfill on what we just sold people, right? And we need to be able to do it at scale. We can't just do it ones and twos, and we can't give one client something and another client something different. It has to be the same onboarding process, and it has to be exceptional for everyone. And then the last one is retention/ascension. We need to be able to keep people within our programs, our gyms. We need to keep them paying, and we need to be able to ascend lower paying clients into higher paying offers and services to make more money per client per month, so that we can increase not only the LTV, but the average revenue of a member per month.
Now, I hear you say that, and that's all music to my ears. And it's so much more than just raising your prices to have greater margin. But when I zoom out and I say that's something that a salon and spa or a chiropractor or any other business down the road could probably implement most of those things. Is that fair?
Yeah, it works with any really service-based business. And the way that we do it for gyms, the way that we actually help gyms is they come in and we do a year-long program with them. It's a coaching plus services program where we'll run ads for them. So we'll run their ads with their offers. We're finalizing done for you lead nurture for them, so they don't even have to touch the leads. We can work the leads for them. Then there's sales. So we teach them how to sell. We teach them the words to say. We teach them the choreography behind it. We teach them how much they should be selling for, their price points, everything else. That's just on their front end offer. Then we teach them how to fulfill on that front end offer. And then after that, and then we teach them how to retain their clients, best practices around that to decrease churn by 50%, which is our average for our clients. And then on the backside of that, we also offer a whole lot of other things like leadership training. We teach them about their numbers, their finances, how to understand leaderships, how to hire, how to basically find people, hire them, onboard them, and then retain them, what they should be paying them, et cetera. So the best way to kind of describe what we do here at Gym Launch is it is a white labeled franchise. And so they are able to keep their own brand, have their own autonomy, but we give them all of the and more support and services and training that a franchise would give someone.
That's crazy, because as someone who's been in the marketing industry for over 20 years, I've found that there are many businesses that are close to being able to get to that level of success they want. However, if you just start running Facebook and Instagram ads, they have a problem with the organization and implementation part that you discussed that's so important. Is, anybody can run ads and all of a sudden see this business come in, but if you're not taking care of the customer and helping on the implementation side, you're going to lose that customer, and that's going to turn into a negative review, negative word of mouth, and it just feels like what was good is now kind of money not well spent. And so where do you feel like a lot of these businesses are going wrong? If you could just find one thing and say, look, this would be the area you should start with, what is that?
It's at the beginning of it, lead generation. I think what we found that the average gym owner just doesn't spend money running ads, and it's still the cheapest cost per eyeball out there. It starts there. And then, as you know, running a business, anyone listening to this, cool, we fix one thing, but then the next thing becomes the next bottleneck. So great, we got a lot of leads, but no one's showing. So now lead nurture is the bottleneck. Great, we fixed that, but now sales, we need to increase sales. We're getting more people to show, but we're not increasing our sales percentage. Cool, we do that. And then we sell more people. Great. We've got our acquisition channels in place, but then now our fulfillment and our onboarding process and retention isn't good. So now we're selling all these people, but they're all just leaving the next month. So now we need to increase that. And then it's back again, right? It just is this vicious beautiful cycle of owning a business, right? That has to happen as you begin to build and grow. And then you start throwing in, as you scale, you start throwing in people into the mix, new employees, new positions, new roles, all that stuff. And that just adds more to it.
I love it. You're a bit of a marketing agency and a consultancy, leadership development, all wrapped into one. That's a beautiful business. What I'd love to do is switch gears to fitness a little bit. It's something that's near and dear to my heart for a lot of reasons. And obviously, pay a lot of attention to um, Brad Lee, Gary Brecka, Alex Ramosi, and want to do the best I can to be healthy, to feel good, to keep my mind sharp. And I believe that, what I eat and working out is a big part of that. And so, since you're someone who's kind of been in this industry for a long time, where is a great place to start if you want to really focus on your fitness journey and your health journey?
Who are we talking to here? Are we talking to someone that's lifted before or never before?
Let's talk about the average entrepreneur. And as you can imagine, the average entrepreneur maybe at best works out sporadically.
Yeah. If you have the money, so I'm a big believer in you should buy back time, right?
Yes.
And especially as a business owner, because really, let's be real, your fitness, the whole point of being fit is to help you play the game of life and business longer and better and with a higher quality. That's the whole point. So if you think about it, okay, what's the game I'm trying to play? And what's the rules to the game? Well, my big whole game is how can I continue to play this or as many games as possible the rest of my life through business, entrepreneurship, my family, etc. And how can I extend that? Well, rules of that mean I have to live a healthier lifestyle. I need to exercise. I need to eat right. I need to sleep, and I need to take care of myself. Okay, that's part of the rules there. Well, in order to do that, for most people, if you don't know something, think about it from the standpoint of if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a CEO, and I want to learn a new skill set and I want to get better at something that I know is really important to me helping the business. Well, I got two options. I can go spend hours and hours on my own trying to find the right information, consume it, learn it, then test it and try it myself. And that could take days, weeks, months, years. Or I could go find experts that have already done it and I could learn from them and just pay with my hard-earned money to decrease the amount of time it takes to learn that new skill set. So my suggestion for most entrepreneurs, if you want to get fit, is hire an exceptional trainer. It doesn't have to be personal training. It could be group fitness. It could be semi-private, but find an exceptional gym that has a track record of doing what they say they're going to do for you. They have tons of testimonials. They have tons of social proof, and they have an exceptional experience. Regardless of the price, you get what you pay for. My suggestion, if you do not have any experience, do that. If you are just starting out and you're someone that has never lifted before, don't really exercise at all, my suggestion would be just get out and walk every day. Just walk. Don't do anything else. Just walk. And then as you get used to that over a month or two, then cool. Now let's think about hiring a trainer or following a program, something like that. I do think for the entrepreneur, it's really protecting your time and your basically your mental capacity. So if we can decrease every day the amount of unimportant decisions that we have to make as entrepreneurs, the better we're going to be able to show up for our business and our team. And one of those unimportant things could be picking out what I'm going to wear today, right? That's an unimportant decision. How can I decrease that? Another one would be, what am I having for lunch? Well, what if you just ate the same thing every single day because you're trying to cut your calories and you're trying to lose weight? Well, cool. Just eat the same thing every single day. You never have to think about it. You never have to worry about it. You never have to waste time going out to lunch. It's already set. You save money. And then same thing of if you're trying to work out, if you hire a trainer, you never have to worry about what's my workout going to be today? What's my progress? Am I doing the right thing? Am I moving correctly? You don't have to do that. All you have to do is show up, listen, put in the work, and you're going to get better results. So that's my take on it. It's different, I think, than most people. I think most people would be like, nah, go out and try it and do it on your own. But realistically, for most entrepreneurs, you're just wasting your time when you could be spending it on your business and getting a bigger bang for your time and your money.
Well, I think you're absolutely right on that for a couple reasons, and I can speak from experiences. During the pandemic, I bought a Peloton. I was active. I was doing a little bit of weight training in my basement, and I did that for 2 years straight. And while I can say I wasn't putting on the COVID-15 as a lot of my friends did, I maintained what I had. Right, probably wasn't eating as well. Probably was drinking more, things that were kind of putting on weight, but also doing things to kind of maintain so I wasn't gaining. And I would say that I don't know that it changed my physique at all. And I would have expected walking, running, lifting would do that. And I think you can, by not doing the correct things or the things that are correct for your body type, you can feel like you're just spinning in a hamster wheel. And that's really for me a big thing. And I will say, all the reasons you mentioned are valid, but I think one of the reasons I want to work out is because I want to feel confident. I want to look better, and I know when I look better, I feel better, and when I feel better, I have more confidence. Especially if you're in any kind of a sales role, I think the way you look and the way you feel presents itself in sometimes how much income you bring home. And I just think that how you look and feel is so important. And I don't mean what other people think of you. I think what you think of yourself, because when you know you're bringing your best self to work every day or home to your family, that level of confidence pays dividends in a lot of different ways. And I'm just curious how much of that you see from your clients, or how much of that is even a selling point in the gym world today.
Yeah, I mean, we tell our clients that, well, think about it this way, right? We tell our clients basically, you wouldn't go to someone for financial advice who's a financial advisor who's poor, right? You're
Right.
not going to do that. Just like you can't be out of shape and be selling transformation programs like weight loss programs. Like you can't. Like why? I mean, you can, but let's be real.
Good
Why
luck.
your closing percentage is going to be lower. It's going to be much harder because they see you and they're like, you're not actually fit. So why would I buy from you? So I think it's very important for gym owners. And it's really interesting. I face this. Thankfully, I've always been smaller anyway. So it's really just a matter of how much muscle or little muscle I would have. So I've never been overweight, but most gym owners struggle with actually working out because they get it just engrossed with their business. And you think about a massage therapist, right? Massage therapist is doing massages all day. They don't want to go home and give their husband or wife a massage. Like that's the last thing they want to do because it's
Right.
work to them. It's the same thing with gym owners. They're in the gym all day and it's very easy to say, I'll get it tomorrow. I'll get it tomorrow. I'll get it tomorrow. I got this thing. But I will say this for myself personally, and for so many gym owners that I've seen and business owners, period, that when I prioritized my workouts, when I prioritized my health and really set goals around that and became more competitive with myself, not other people, but with myself to try to improve that, that's when I really became a better leader. I became a better salesperson, a better father, a better husband, and genuinely made way more money when I started taking it seriously.
I totally believe that, and I'm now that I'm kind of feeling that same thing. I'm hearing other podcasters and influencers say that as well. But I also think, kind of switching gears a little bit, a big part of it, not all of it, but a part of it is what you put into your body, is the nutrition side of things. And I've tried hard since I've had some health issues in the past to really crack down on not eating junk food, heavy in protein. And I'm still learning every single day, but I look at these labels and I find all kinds of crazy ingredients in some of the favorite things I like to eat. So, what is some of your advice to those same people you're talking about with these workout programs? What's the advice for the nutritional side of things? Because I think even if you're not working out, us entrepreneurs can benefit from eating better. I think you'll be more alert, more energy. What we put into our body is so impactful for the output that's happening every single day when we sit down to work.
Yeah. I hate to oversimplify it because everyone oversimplifies it. Because yes, it's simple, but for most people, execution is everything. Just like in a business, I can give you a simple strategic
Sure.
business plan, but if you don't execute it, it doesn't matter. But for everyone, it's really, you need the best thing that's going to help you the most if you're trying to get in better shape is to make sure that you're eating enough protein. And for guys, to be real, most guys don't eat enough protein. If you truly are trying to change your body composition, you should be eating, in my opinion, and this differs between different people, but somewhere around your body weight in grams, or around just somewhere in there. And there's two benefits to this. Number one is and lean meats, not fatty meats, lean meats. They're going to be less in calories. They're also going to fill you up. So you're not going to be as hungry as you eat that protein. Now you can stretch it out however you want over the course of the day. You're still going to want some carbohydrates depending on how you prefer those. Because some people, right, breads and gluten is not a not something that for them, but for others, right, you're good to go. But just keep those in moderation and really think of like, how is this food going to serve me? And the best way to do this from a mental standpoint is to get away from seeing food as a coping mechanism or as a reward and start seeing food as just really just another thing that I have to do. It's just another check mark. And this sounds terrible for a lot of people. You might be listening to this and you might be like, but food is the most enjoyable thing for me. I get it. I love going out, having an incredible steak, having a side of potatoes, having some bread, and then having dessert. It's exceptional. The thing is like over time, if that is the primary amount, if that is what I'm eating and that's the volume that I'm eating, over time, it's going to catch up to me. And it may not be today, it may not be next week, but I guarantee you in a year, I'm going to be adding some pounds. So the goal here is really think about it from a standpoint of how can I make better decisions today and keep making those better decisions every day? Because yes, I'm not going to see the results. And this is why people fall off, right? They want to see results really fast. They want to feel better immediately. They want to lose weight. They want to have a 6-pack in 2 days. It's just not going to happen. And just like a business isn't built overnight, it's going to take time. And so if I take that same approach to it and push off the expectation of results and just be like, I'm just going to dive into the process today. I'm going to eat what's right in front of me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get back to work. Eat, go back to work, eat, go back to work. And just consistently, when you look in the mirror 6 months from now, you're going to be a completely different person, right? And a lot of that comes from just making the right choices. More protein, control the types of carbs that you're having. And carbs are not bad. Eat what you want, right? Just control the calories and your fats. Your fats are going to be from everything. So make sure you eat your veggies and all that stuff. Again, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not someone that's going to be out there saying that I am and that I know all the ins and outs. And but at the end of the day, it's just making better choices. And I will say this. I think the average American and human, but American is, especially eats way more than what we actually need. Like way more. Like you really don't need a lot to actually move. It's way less than what most people think.
Interesting. See, I feel like I have to eat more to get to that level of protein. I feel like that's the only way to get to 180 grams of protein is to just stuff my face and eat multiple times a day. But I'm big on intermittent fasting. I think for me, it's been huge. It'd be something I'd recommend other people have, especially those who are battling any kind of like indigestion, heartburn. It's basically eliminated that completely for me. And the hard part though is by eliminating one meal, which for me is breakfast, you eliminate a good chunk of protein and calories that you might normally get. And so finding ways to be creative on how you're going to get those calories and get those grams of protein. I want to move on though from the fitness side of things and move back a little bit to business. And I want to hear this story about how you and Alex Hormozi got connected.
Yeah, so we got connected first as clients. So I think I was like the, 13th or 16th person to sign up for Gym Launch back in 2017. And then signed up for the next level program after that, really, I think just like a month later. And we connected first that way. And then I went to the very first mastermind meeting a couple months later, got to meet in person. And that was really it. Besides that, we didn't really have any back and forth or anything. Obviously, I was all in. And if he needed anything from me, we'd message back and forth, but not a ton there. And then I got started as a salesperson because I saw an ad that they had placed saying that they're hiring salespeople. And I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I'll do this for free because I was so into it. I was just like, I'll do it for free. Just send me the deck and I'll sell people for you. This whole time, by the way, I had a 9 to 5 and still running the business. So I was working another job and with a marketing agency doing sales for them and account management. And I was just like, hey, I'll do it on the side. And he was like, I'm looking for a full-time person. And I was like, well, what does that entail? So we went through all that stuff, went through the interview process, got hired, and really didn't spend a lot of time with Alex up until the point where I became, I would say, really coaching manager. When I became coaching manager is when I spent a little bit more time towards the end of that. And because, we had a lot of people in the organization and getting to him, we wanted to make sure that we protected his time and his attention. So it's not like he had an open door policy and everyone could get there. But when I became coaching manager, spent a little bit more time. And then when I moved to general manager, that's when, and that was in 2020. So it was January 2020, 2 months before everything just shut down. We had to adjust everything. When I became GM, that's when we started spending a ton of time together. And that's when we became a lot closer. And we spent hours together. And I got to sit and learn from him and learn so many different things. And I was learning from afar before in the roles that I was, watching how he showed up to meetings, what questions was he asking, how was he thinking about this, why did he go this strategy, and things like that. And he would ask my opinion on things up until that point. But when I became GM, that's when we spent a ton of time together. And I would say he's one of my best friends to this day, easily. So we still talk multiple times a week. And he's just an incredible human being.
You can just tell in consuming his content on social media. At what point in that journey did he write his first book, $100 billion Offers?
Well, he wrote his first book, Gym Launch Secrets, actually. That was his first book.
Oh, that's
so
right.
So that was his first book. He released that, I believe, in 2019 or 2018. I think it was 2019. I could be wrong, but 2018 or 2019, he wrote his first book there. And then he wrote $100 million offers. I can't remember. I remember him working through it, but I think it was after the sale is when he launched it, or right before the sale. I can't remember. I think it was before the sale, which happened. We sold, so we're owned by majority ownership by a private equity company called American Pacific Group. They bought us majority ownership in December of 2021. And I can't remember whether or not he released it before that or after, but sometime around there.
And how did that change business? Because right around that time was when he started to come to the surface level for a lot of people not in the gym industry. And I had seen him a little bit here and there, saw some content, and it really wasn't maybe until it feels like 2 years ago, where he kind of went viral on social media and became so much more than just the gym launch guy, the buff gym launch guy.
Yeah. And I think it's really important for, anyone to understand that was a very strategic, calculated move that he did over time. And he was able to do that because of multiple things. One is he's ridiculously smart. And yes, you see his content and all this stuff, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. The guy is genuinely a genius when it comes to business and understanding, influence, all these things. He's that way because he's genetically gifted, very smart naturally, but he also works harder than really anyone I know when it comes to gaining new knowledge and learning new things and testing. And this was something that was the plan really when I became GM, was to give him back time. And with the idea of us selling, that was the whole goal, is to be able to get him out of marketing, get him out and be away from being the face of the company, and be able to run the companies without him and Layla having to be involved on the day-to-day, which we were able to do really all of 2021. They worked as kind of an advisory role in a sense. They were the executive team, and we would meet on a weekly basis, my wife and I, and my wife also works in business. She's the VP of ops, and we would meet with them and go over, what are we doing? We would bring our stuff to them, and, we bounce ideas back, but we were the ones doing the day-to-day. And during that time, he was trying to figure out, what are we going to do next, Alex and Layla? And they came to the realization, they want to do acquisition.com, and he was writing books, and he wants to educate and make business education accessible to everyone, which is acquisition.com's goal and his goal as well. And that's when I started seeing him put way more generic business content out there. It was really, I would say 2020, but really into 2021 is when he started really hitting that hard. And he approached it very clinically. He approached it from the standpoint of, okay, eyeballs, brand. If I can do this, I need to think about the platforms in which I'm going to use, and I need to go in and I need to master each of those platforms. So first, he had been on Facebook and Instagram, so he was doing those. So he did learn how to do and worked with teams and to get better at reels and short form content. But then long form content, he saw that as, and he rightfully saw it as, the long-term ability to educate people at scale and to build an even stronger brand. And that's where he dove headfirst into learning how to be way better at long form content, consistently put it out, paid people lots of money to learn from them, spent his own time testing and doing that. And now that's where he is now. I mean, he's blown up across the board, but that's not from chance. It's not from anything else. I mean, it was him every day and his team and Layla putting in the work every day to get better and put out as much valuable content as they possibly can.
And I think there's a lot of lesson learned in everything you just said right there, where the same process that he and Layla did in trying to get out of the day-to-day operations is the same thing you're trying to do for your clients at Gym Launch, is get them out of the day-to-day to work on the business, not in the business. And I think that is one of those things that just habitually happens, leads to burnout, and leads us to either a failing business or getting out of the business, which is really unfortunate. And then the other thing there that I think anyone listening to this podcast today can take from is content. I mean, so many of us are just purely afraid to get in front of the camera. We're afraid to create content when in actuality, it's the video content that the platforms want, and it's the video content that the consumers want. And when you have a history of doing it for years, like Alex did, and like you've been doing, you start to build an audience. But the downside is the patience, right? I mean, just like when your fitness journey and your health journey, to see significant results can take a year or more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It takes way longer than what most people think. And yeah, it's the same mindset. Just take the same mindset. Extend the time horizon. Alex likes to talk about, right? Extend the time horizon and just think, cool, if I do this every day for the next 10 years, it's unreasonable for me to not be successful and to not have a brand built. So just extend it. And it's like, cool. So I'm 35 right now. And I'd be pretty stoked if I'm 45 and I have 1 million followers on Instagram and 500,000 on TikTok and I've got 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. That'd be great. As long as I'm putting out the type of value that they want and that's actually making an impact in the world, that'd be amazing. I'd be totally happy with that in 10 years. It might happen sooner. But when we strip away that expectation of I have to get these fast results, it allows you to focus on the process today and to do it right.
Love that. Good way to finish that up. Last question before we wrap things up is I'd love to hear what is one of the biggest bits of information that Alex likes to give out. What is something within the walls of Gym Launch that is a big Alex Hormozy-ism?
Oh man, there's so many. There's so
maybe
many.
one that people don't know who have read his book.
He's pretty open about a lot of the stuff. I think if I was going to give anything there's so many that have helped me because I've spent so much time and they've become almost a part of me. But the lesson that I learned the most from him was that everyone can decrease the amount of time it takes to get things done. So the way he thinks about it is power. He talks about this before, but power is really being able to true power is being able to take a thought and turn it into action or a result, right? And the power, your level of power is how fast you can take that thought and make it reality, right? So like a king or an emperor or a dictator or someone thinks something, they can have it done quickly. Like when we think about power, they're like, I want to build this. Great. Everyone's going to follow through and do everything that they possibly can to make that happen. Well, in our own little worlds, if we want to build power, and that is not in a negative context, we mean it in a positive context of influence and being able to create reality or new reality for yourself, your family, your clients, whatever it is how quickly can you take a thought and put it into action and make it reality? And that is acting with speed. That is having the skill set of being able to influence people. That is being able to communicate clearly, both verbally and through written word. So I think that's a lesson for me that's really stuck with me and something that I think about consistently. Even every week, I think about it in terms of our business, how I act, how I show up for our teams and for our clients.
Boom. That's a huge takeaway. Love that. So much inspiration there. Cale, before I let you go, tell the audience a little bit more about what you have going on, Gym Launch, Prestige Labs, whatever you like.
Yeah, sweet. So yeah, Gym Launch is continuing to grow. We help gym owners be able to reach more people, change more lives, and build wildly profitable businesses. I work with health clubs, boutiques, still growing on that side. Prestige Labs is an affiliate-based supplement company that we have that's really there to serve gym owners, to allow them to have the opportunity to provide exceptional products for their clients and be able to be paid handsomely for it. We paid out over $20 million in commissions since 2018 to our affiliates.
Damn.
And we pay out the highest percentage of commissions than anyone else in the space, period. And then gymowners.com is a tech startup. We are rebuilding the CRM space for gyms. We're taking what we've learned from working with over 5,000 gyms on the ground floor with them in their business and understanding all the tech problems that they have. And we are from scratch rebuilding a much simpler, much better way to run a business through technology. So we have that coming. That'll launch in Q3 of next year, which we're super excited about. And that's where it's at. If you want to keep up to date with all that stuff, you can go to gymowners.com. We have prestigelabs.com, and then we also have gymowners.com.
And where can they find you?
You can find me at Cale Owen across pretty much any of the social platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. You can find me on all of those. Hopefully we provide you some value. Have a podcast with my wife that I really enjoy doing called Cookies and Coffee Podcast, where we talk about marriages and entrepreneurship together. So what it's like to be married and working together. So if there's anybody listening to this that is married, I highly suggest listening to that. We tell our story and we talk about things that work for us and experiences.
I don't even think I knew you had a podcast. That must be all the content. The micro content I see must come from the podcast.
Yeah,
Love
that's
it. Okay. Very cool. Cal, thank you so much for being on the show today. For all the listeners out there, thank you for the downloads. Thank you for your ears. Until next time, peace.
Thank you for being part of the Hustle Nation. If you're serious about raising the bar in your personal and professional life and willing to go all in on your success, head over to hustleleaders.com. Here you can get access to our Hustle Productivity ebook, attend our Hustle Masterclass, or challenge yourself to the 30-day Hustle Challenge. Pairing these tools and training with the Hustle Nation podcast will help you advance to a whole new level. Until next time, stay hungry and inspire those around you to hustle.